There's a version of your life happening in parallel right now. Not a dramatic version, not one where you become a millionaire overnight, or launch a startup, or go viral. Just a quieter version. A version where maybe 8 or 9 years ago, you started putting $3 a day into an index fund. That's it. That's the only difference. And today, that version of you has real money sitting quietly in the background. Not flashy money, not buy a Lamborghini money, just stability, a cushion, a little breathing room. And the strange part is, that version of you probably wasn't smarter than you. They didn't study finance every day. They didn't obsess over the stock market. They didn't know secret investing strategies. They just started small enough that it didn't feel painful, and they kept going. Most people never do that, not because they're lazy, not because they're bad with money, but because $3 sounds too small to matter. Almost embarrassing. Like, if it's not hundreds of dollars, what's even the point? But that's the trap. We think about money in giant numbers, thousands, millions. We imagine saving will begin later, when life feels more stable, when we make more money, when things calm down, when we finally feel ready. But for most people, that moment never fully arrives. Meanwhile, small spending feels harmless. A coffee, a delivery app, a random subscription you forgot existed. None of those decisions feel important on their own because they're immediate. You feel them instantly. Investing is different. The reward is invisible at first. You put money somewhere and nothing exciting happens. No dopamine, no applause, no visible lifestyle change, which is why so many people quit early. And honestly, this is the phase where most people stop, because human beings are terrible at noticing slow progress, which is dangerous because most important things in life grow slowly at first. Now, let's make this real. $3 a day is about $90 a month. Round it to 100. If you invested that consistently into a simple S&P 500 index fund, historically averaging around 7% annual returns after inflation, something interesting starts happening. At first, almost nothing. After 1 year, maybe you have around $1,200, not life-changing. After 5 years, maybe $7,000. Still doesn't feel huge. But underneath that invisible progress, something is growing. The base gets larger, and larger bases compound faster. Compound interest is strange. For years, it feels like pushing a heavy wheel uphill. Then, eventually, the wheel starts pulling itself. 10 years becomes around $17,000. 15 years becomes $30,000. 20 years becomes over $50,000. And eventually, over enough time, those tiny daily decisions quietly become 6 figures. Not because of luck, not because somebody discovered a secret, but because time multiplied consistency. Now imagine a real person. Let's say someone is 24 years old. First real job. Small apartment. Learning how expensive adulthood actually is. One day, they hear somebody mention index funds. Nothing life-changing, just a random conversation. So they set up an automatic transfer. $90 a month. Then they forget about it. At 26, life gets messy. Job transition. A few stressful months. The automatic investing stops for a while. At 28, the stock market crashes. Their account drops hard. And suddenly, the calm little investment account doesn't feel calm anymore. It feels stupid. It feels risky. It feels like maybe they should pull everything out before things get worse. But eventually, they keep going. At 30, they move cities, Rent goes up. Life changes again. The investing pauses, then starts again later. And honestly, this is what real investing usually looks like. Not perfection. Not somebody investing flawlessly for 40 straight years. Just ordinary people trying to stay consistent while life keeps happening around them. That's the part finance videos usually skip. The hard part isn't understanding compound interest. The hard part is patience. Human beings are naturally wired to prioritize immediate rewards. A coffee today feels more real than retirement 40 years from now. That's not stupidity, that's psychology. Modern life makes this even harder. Everything around us is designed to make spending feel emotional. New phones, better cars, lifestyle upgrades, visible success. Investing feels invisible by comparison. Nobody compliments your index fund at a dinner party. Nobody notices your brokerage account slowly growing in the background, which is why quiet wealth building often feels boring. And maybe that's exactly why it works. There was actually a man named Ronald Read. He worked as a gas station attendant and janitor for most of his life. Nothing glamorous. No huge salary, no internet business, no crypto fortune. Most people would have walked past him without noticing him. Old clothes, quiet life, ordinary job. But quietly, decade after decade, he was building freedom in the background. He simply invested consistently for decades into ordinary companies and left the money alone. When he died, he had accumulated around $8 million. That story shocked people for about a week. Then everyone went back to watching videos about getting rich fast, because slow wealth doesn't look exciting. But historically, slow wealth is usually the most real kind. And this is why small automatic investing matters so much. Not because $3 is magical, but because small habits are easier to sustain. When something feels painless, you're more likely to continue doing it. That matters more than intensity. Most people think wealth is built through giant moments, huge opportunities, perfect timing, massive income. But for ordinary people, financial stability is usually built much more quietly than that. 1,000 small decisions, repeated for years. Some made while tired, some made while doubting whether any of this is even working. Some made during market crashes. Some made during stressful periods of life. And eventually, those invisible choices become visible. Not overnight, not dramatically, just slowly. One day, you look at an account you barely paid attention to anymore, and realize it turned into something real. Not unlimited wealth, but freedom, margin, breathing room. And maybe that's the strange thing about building wealth slowly. For a very long time, it looks like nothing is happening at all. Until suddenly, you realize years of small choices quietly changed your life. And the strangest part is, the future that once felt impossible was built almost invisibly.